Joining the players in game 2, he's playing against Justin Cavenaugh on Eldrazi Tron. You mentioned that Grixis can have a tough time with this one. We see over on the right, Justin Cavenaugh, Thought-Knot Seer in play. He's got 2 Tron pieces, 2 Eldrazi Temples. Both Tron pieces are towers, though, so 4 to 6 mana, depending on what he wants to cast.
What you don't see is a Chalice of the Void, which is a big win for Jessup.
Yeah, on Jessup's side, he has a Cavenaugh Angler, which, as it looks right now, is the largest creature in play. Andrew's at 9. Most of that appears to be self-inflicted, if not all.
Yep, that's what the Shadow deck do. If you can commit some shadows here, you can start to really pull ahead in this game.
Andrew is down a game. Players both at 9 and 2 right now. And he's going to dismember the Thought-Knot Seer. That puts him down to 5. That's actually a concerning number against Eldrazi Tron.
Yeah, that's Reality Smasher territory.
Yeah, it looks like this is with the Thought-Knot on the stack. So he's going to dismember it, he draws a card, and now Justin gets to take one. We see Engineered Explosives and 2 copies of Snapcaster Mage.
Explosives here largely just to respect Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, it's hard. Andrew's deck can't get it up to a high enough number to remove an Eldrazi. Justin will go ahead and take one of the Snapcasters. Now an exiled from Thought-Knot. We go back over to Andrew's turn. Another Gurmag Angler. Check his graveyard. Looks like 5 cards. So for tapping 2, he can make another Angler. So let me go a different plan. Here's Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster is going to target Thoughtseize. Andrew's going to go to 3.
This would get a Reality Smasher out of the hand.
Gets in all his dust out of Justin's hand. Leaves him with Wastes and looks like Ghost Quarter.
And getting all his dust out is really nice as well. Despite only having 4 lands, 1 more land and Cavenaugh's there.
Yeah, thanks to those 2 Eldrazi Temples, he did have the All His Dust ready to go. Gurmag Angler. And Andrew's got to be careful here. He's debating if he wants to attack. A Reality Smasher off the top wins. It has Trample, 1 Toughness on the Snapcaster.
I think he just has to limit draw steps here.
Yep, he's going to take the risk. Justin to 15. Smasher off the top will win the game.
And the thing is, things don't get better over time once you just put your thing in front of the Reality Smasher. Yeah. So you're just dead to another one. You're dead to an endless one after that. The Eldrazi Tron deck has a lot of hard-hitting top decks.
Yeah, I mean, you see right now Ghost Quarter from Justin. Andrew's also, you know, starting next turn, dead to Walking Ballista.
Yep.
Rather than trying, it's so many outs, rather than trying to play around them, you just need to close. I can get behind that. The draw for Justin was Chalice of the Void. From Justin, we're going to see a Ghost Quarter on the Blood Crypt. So this actually takes away Walking Ballista as an out. What I'm interested in is whether or not Justin has kept them in. It's not a particularly good card against Shadow.
When they damage themselves aggressively, it can convert very meaningfully. There's spots where it's less good, but in the matchup, it's a really nice closer.
Yeah.
If you ever get Tron online, it's more than good enough here.
So in that situation, is this Ghost Quarter? I mean, it got Andrew's second basic out of the deck. Now it'll make Chalice the Void on 1. But I'm not sure I like the Ghost Quarter play.
Yeah, I don't love it. It takes Jessup off of red mana. So
okay.
There couldn't be a Kolaghan's command. The command doesn't look great here.
Swing for 7 puts Cavenaugh to 8. Now a backup Gurmag Angler from Andrew will actually protect him against Reality Smashers. He delves away.
Yep. Largely has to fade All His Dust as another top deck.
Yeah, 1 All His Dust was just Thoughtseize. There's a second one in Cavanagh's list. Yeah, that would be a huge draw here for Justin. And it looks like Dismember the pickup.
Ugh.
I don't want to cast that at all.
Oh, thank you. And that's just lethal.
There
Going to game 3.
Grixis Death Shadow with Andrew Jessup takes the second game here. So that was our first of sideboarded games here that we have between Grixis Shadow and Eldrazi Tron. You know, it feels the issue here is that Andrew's working really hard to get these discounted 5/5s. You know, his whole deck really is like he can get a 5/5 for 2 mana if he works at it, or maybe for 3. Justin gets 5/5s for 3, well, without too much work.
Right. Jessup's deck is configured. He's playing a lot of suboptimal stuff. You know, Thought Scour, not exactly an exceptional Magic card. He has to pressure his own life total a lot to make Death Shadow large, And then Justin just plays this land that taps for 2 mana.
Yeah, so in a lot of times in this matchup, you saw Andrew had to leave himself open to Reality Smasher for 2 turns there. Is that pretty typical of the games that he wins?
Yeah, usually you're choosing which card you would rather lose to and shoving into one thing or the other. Would be it All Is Dust versus Reality Smasher. Just does those kind of decisions you're kind of constantly making here. The Shadow deck is always in a position where the top of the Tron deck can just close the game.
So there's not really a way to play it safe on Andrew's side, you know, sitting behind,
if your
like
draw,
leaving back blockers, maybe a Stubborn Denial, things like that.
If your draw is a lot better than their draw, you'll have some leftover resources, but you're playing against this Thought-Knot Seer deck. They have Cavernaugh Souls to make that one uncounterable. The Eldrazi Tron deck just has a lot of interaction advantage here.
Now looking at Andrew's sideboard for the tournament, one thing I am interested in, 2 sideboard copies of Temur Battle Rage. This is something we normally have seen in Jund or 4-color Shadow decks. They're strong against combo, against decks, you know, it really speeds up the deck. Is this enough of a matchup where you think Andrew has that in his deck?
Yeah, anytime you feel like you're throwing a Hail Mary, you're going to see this card coming in. If you think you just need to be a turn faster. Generally, the Eldrazi Tron matchup's more of an attrition thing. The slam dunks on the sideboard are these 2 ceremonious rejections. You're trying to beat a lot of stuff. You can Temur Battle Rage Death Shadow and convert that way. I think it's a little dicey.
Yeah, I see them in decks where the Shadows player is saying, I can't control your draw, so I'd rather just try to win. This is a matchup where it's, can Andrew control his draw? It feels pretty borderline.
Yeah. Things are really close in this matchup. And if it's a game where you could interact and you just drew Temur Battle Rage, you know, sometimes you just don't have a Shadow to convert with it.
Yeah. Turn 1, Expedition map from Cavenaugh as we start our 3rd game here. It was off Eldrazi Temple, though, so there's no threat of turn 3 Tron. See here, he plays Urza's Tower. There is a Karn looming in Justin's hand, that's so setting up for turn 4.
Still pretty good on turn 4.
Yeah, on the play, that should be good enough. Andrew fetches down to 17 on end step.
Likely a Thought Scour accompanying that, though you probably just shock yourself even if you don't have it.
I always like it when they end step, fetch, shock, and then don't play anything. It's just, hey, that's how our deck works.
Yep, this is what I came here to do.
And it's adorable. Fetch land and a pass. Andrew's sitting back on Liliana of the Veil and multiple copies of Stubborn Denial. It's a much slower game plan for this kind of matchup.
Yeah, and with no creature on the battlefield, Stubborn Denial a lot worse than Ceremonious Rejection.
So Andrew just says go. Justin will go ahead and get Urza's Mine off that Expedition map. He has another map in hand, so has a pretty simple play next turn of just play mine, play map, pass, threaten Tron.
Yep.
Does Andrew have to make a play like Stubborn Denial on the map just to slow him down a turn? Or that's just too bad of a resource conversion?
It's going to depend on the full context of the hand. Sometimes you will make that as a tempo play. If your hand is just really slow, though, it's hard to imagine that being a game-winning play.
Yeah, it's the kind of play you make when things are going really poorly.
Yeah.
So, Relic of Progenitus actually the play from Justin. That kind of suggests he already has the 3rd Tron piece.
Yeah, or he just knows that he might get his Karn countered when he goes for it.
Stubborn Denial on Relic when Justin has the mana open. He'll pay. Is Andrew going to double Stubborn Deny this? He does.
Perhaps this is the way to fuel a delve threat for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big resource exchange. Justin didn't play his land ahead of time. He could have prevented this, though I guess you'd have to then decide whether or not Justin wanted this to happen or not.
Yeah, part of the read for Jessup there may have been that Justin needed that relic to draw a land.
Okay. Well, if so, then well played by Justin. He then plays the mine. No, he had the mine in his hand from the map. Andrew knew that was there. He cracked the mine, yeah. So he'll play, and Justin will play another map.
Or maybe the hand is just light on something. The map is quite a bit more important than the relic anyway.
Well, there might be a concern, right? If Andrew has a delve threat here, the relic could just keep the graveyard in check so that Andrew couldn't cast. Just by tapping. There's
multiple things that get him here. Regardless, this is a desperate play.
Okay. See Andrew now, his choice, Liliana or a delve threat. He's going to fetch shock.
You want to get the Liliana on the table in case Justin has a Thought-Knot Seer down the line, but it's really bad if he just plays Reality Smasher right away.
Yeah, that'd be mean. And also, all he needs is just a land and a Smasher. There was that Eldrazi Temple turn 1.
Yep.
So it's not even asking that much of Justin to have a Reality Smasher. Tasigur, the play, is going to delve away 4, and then it looks like make Death Shadow, and the Death Shadow currently a 2/2.
That's a reasonable position.
We'll go back, see a draw from Justin.
And if he's able to untap with the Tasigur, he does have Snapcaster Stubborn Denial from here.
Yeah, and this is actually really neat. Just the Karn's not particularly strong on the board now. You know, he would get one creature and eat an attack, but that's it. Justin, I believe, has Warping Whale. Or no, he has Reality Smasher. I'm correcting myself on that. Not sure about the instant. At least one more land, if not more. None of those play too much. He doesn't actually want to play Smasher and attack with it. I think Andrew would be happy to go to 6.
Yeah, cracking back with Death Shadow against Smasher, especially when the Smasher is not lethal by itself on the following turn.
Right, yes, being at 6, not at 5.
Yep.
Here is the third Urza land, though. Looks like 8 mana at the ready for Justin.
Well, that feels less good.
So Karn at the ready. Karn's answerable. So full 3 Tron makes 7. I guess we'll see if he has another threat. It's just going to be Karn here. 7 mana Planeswalker. 2 of in the Eldrazi Tron deck. -3 gets his choice of Death Shadow or Tasigur. It's a lot of respect. He still takes Death Shadow here.
Yeah, without any help, the Shadow can't kill Karn on the following turn, but it does get a lot larger with help.
You just have to assume, you know, the idea of take Tasigur and then say, oh yeah, it's only a 2/2 Shadow. I mean, it's going to be a 3/3.
What are the odds that they draw the cards that are essential to their strategy?
No. Yeah, what if he just has no way to deal himself damage? Then it's definitely right to take Tasigur, but that's not happening. Tasigur's going to go ahead and attack. Karn goes to the graveyard. And you mentioned here, now with Tasigur as a 4/5, Snapcaster Stubborn Denial is up. Andrew's hand, Liliana, Snapcaster, Steam Vents, and Terminate.
This covers a lot of things immediately, though he has a long way to go. Cavenaugh still at 20. Second turn, he'll be having access to Tron mana.
Yeah, and there's just a worry of something like a Walking Ballista or, you know, some creature spell that's very large, and Ulamog that Justin's can cast already on mana that would be very hard for Andrew to do something about.
Ulamog or Wormcoil Engine would pretty much be game over.
Ghost Quarter for Justin. And he's going to go to work on Andrew's red source. He'll go ahead and shoot at the Blood Crypt. Andrew will float a mana. Andrew actually has in Steam Vents in hand, he has the replacement.
Yeah, and he hung on to that partly because he does have that Liliana the Veil in hand. He wants to have something that he doesn't care about discarding.
Well, I'm interested. So Andrew actually, yeah, he didn't play a land.
It also discards to a Reality Smasher trigger.
Okay, that makes sense. He did lose a Tasigur activation by not making that play.
He figures he's going to have to do something on Cavenaugh's turn. If Cavenaugh is just empty, well, hey, the Tasigur is probably going to win the game anyway.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. If Justin doesn't do anything to draw out Terminate or Stubborn Denial, then great. Here's Reality Smasher from Cavenaugh. With Death Shadow off the board, I was going to say he could be free to attack, but he's just going to go ahead and leave it back as a blocker.
That makes this look like a pretty good window for Liliana from Jessup.
Yeah, I really like this.
Does he have discard to lead on too? Or no, Serum Visions.
Serum Visions was the draw. That's fine, though. Land and Thoughtseize on top. He's got to weigh whether or not Thoughtseize is still good.
Yeah, it would have been good as a top deck that turn. It's not very good in the following turn.
You've seen that Justin's best card. He's just casting his best card every turn.
Yeah. You confirm that the Reality Smasher is the only thing that's up, and then you get to Liliana it down.
3 more damage here off the Scalding Tarn. Well, that could just be 1.
So you get the basic land, you can start getting Ghost Quartered badly, but also he doesn't have a Death Shadow. He can just die to Ballistas, Reality Smashers. You do want to protect some life.
Doesn't have red mana source yet then. But he'll play Liliana of the Veil anyway, and that'll take care of Reality Smasher. -2, Justin has to sacrifice the 5/5. His hand, Eldrazi Temple and Basic Waste.
Yeah, not only is his hand empty, but he can't even use a map to find Seagate Wreckage and start drawing cards because he has all these lands he has to clean out. Jessup will help him a little bit if he takes up this Liliana.
Just find the Eye of Ugin, right?
I can't say I missed that one.
As if this, just in case Control thought they could beat this deck back when Eye of Ugin was around.
I did kind of like playing the Broken Eldrazi deck, but playing against Eye of Ugin out of Tron, just like green Tron playing the blue decks was always miserable.
Yeah, you like answer all their threats and they go, well, I'll get another.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm attacking with my 3-power creature and I countered 2 cards and then like, oh, I'm just going to draw a Haymaker every turn and you're dead.
If you're not familiar with this card, banned in Modern, which is why Justin is not going to get it with Expedition Map.
And Chalice will avoid the pickup. That one very late to the party.
Well, he can Chalice on just about any number he chooses. I don't know what that's going to do.
Can he Chalice on 7 to stop Gurmag Angler?
Not yet. We're close. We're 1 tower away from it. He'll Chalice on 1.
That turns off Snapcaster Stubborn Denial from Jessup, which could come up.
Yeah, I like how that turns off Stubborn Denial. It means if Justin draws something like All Is Dust, it'll just convert. Doesn't have too many turns to do it, though. Tassiger swings again. Justin down to 12. You saw that activation on Liliana. Andrew starts pitching his 1-mana spells. Fair enough.
You're likely to see an end-step Snapcaster flashing back nothing, just so Jessup has a 2-turn clock.
Well, yeah, all the cards he can flash back cost 1, so that doesn't really play. His other option would be to activate Tassiger. We'll see which one he goes for. He's going to go for the Tassiger activation.
I imagine that Cavenaugh is going to give him a 1-mana spell.
Yeah, here's Dismember in response. Cavenaugh going to go down to 8.
Probably not going to give him the Tassiger, even though it is in the graveyard.
It is legal. I don't know about the flavor of Tassiger bringing himself back. That's a bit of a fail. Fortunately, it didn't happen, so.
Yeah, didn't have to account for that.
No flavor judge ruling had to occur. Liliana will keep going up, ticks to 3. Andrew will discard that Inquisition that Justin had given him, and then just say go.
I suppose, yeah, the Tassiger activation gives him something else to discard to Liliana, and theoretically, he could have to Snapcaster that Terminate in his hand in this game, especially because of the Dismember. You know, now the Snapcaster wouldn't be much of a clock.
It's interesting. Justin just says go in the face of an onboard Liliana, keeping a card in his hand. Andrew will make a 2/1 on end step. Maybe his card is just a 1-mana card, something uncastable. Not just 1 2/1. Andrew's going to make a pair of 2/1s, and that's actually a lot better.
2-turn clock.
Yeah. Draws Teamer Battle Rage.
Okay.
Ooh,
that's not very good on Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, it's a shock.
If somehow both of these
4.
connect and then one of them dies to something.
No. What if Justin just draws, I was going to say a blocker, but Liliana can take care of that.
Yeah.
Then it would work. No tick up from Andrew. He says go. We go over to Justin. It looks like that draw last turn was Expedition Map. That's why he didn't cast it. He drew Matter Reshaper this turn.
That is a blocker that you kind of want to just Battle Rage through.
Teamer Battle Rage is nice here. Here's Matter Reshaper.
You can even activate Liliana first. Just plus it for that last card in Cavenaugh's hand.
Justin says go. Looks like a number of ways Andrew can get through this. He has a Terminate. He has the onboard Liliana. He has the Teamer Battle Rage. He has to figure out if he could possibly lose. He'll start by terminating.
He's going to go for the Terminate. There's really not much in the way of this ways this could go wrong.
Another one. What if they just keep doing this?
Well, from here, you can just go for the Liliana plus line Battle Rage.
Liliana minus.
Or you can Edict. And get another
one.
Reshaper.
Oh, and it's going to be
okay.
Nerzaland. All right, so that's going to be lethal. 2 Snapcaster swinging, and it is Andrew Jessup, his 7th straight win here. He is 10-2 with Grixis Death Shadow, looking for the repeat win.